Welcome to the Fields and Futures podcast. I'm your host, Sam Mays. We've got a very special guest today, Director of OU Soul Mission, Mr. Josh Norman. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you doing, Sam?
I'm doing excellent. Anytime that I can get on and talk a little bit about Fields and Futures, it's always a great day. This is an organization that's near and dear to my heart. And I know that with your background in coaching and the program that you're in now at OU with the Soul Mission, I'm sure that Fields and Futures means a ton to you also.
Absolutely, man. Excited to talk about it. Like you said, anytime I get to sing praises to Fields and Futures and give shout outs there, I'm always willing to do that. And so appreciate you for having me on, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. For those who don't know, Fields and Futures, a nonprofit here in Oklahoma City that has really changed the entire landscape of the Oklahoma City Public School District in regards to their athletic facilities. I know that did you coach at John Marshall? Is that correct?
I did. Yes, sir.
Right. And so you've seen firsthand what they've been able to do coming in and, putting down football fields and softball fields and helping getting equipment and really, lifting up these programs that have been down in the dumps just a little bit over the last 20 years and giving these kids something to be proud of. I remember being in Youngstown, Ohio, and the first time we got some new jerseys, and it was like, this is awesome, right? This makes me feel great. Our new jerseys and our new field, and to be able to do this for these kids here in Oklahoma City and give them something to look forward to, something to be proud of, has really elevated these communities.
Yeah, man, it really has. But I think, to me, the thing that stands out the most about Fields and Futures is how it's rooted in statistics, and the statistics show that. If you can get kids involved in high school athletics and high school sports and get them on a team, the statistics show that the graduation rate grows exponentially. And so to have the forethought of saying, all right, well, how do we get kids in sports? How do we keep them in sports? Well, give them a nice field to be on. It's as simple as it sounds. It's a lot more into it than just, a few people getting together and saying, man, let's build these fields for these kids so they can have somewhere nice to play ball. But the results of what happens when these fields are built is the most magnificent thing. It's because it's not just about, giving the kids a sense of team. That's extremely important. A sense of community, that's extremely important. But when you talk about graduating high school, and being able to improve the future of their life, again, Fields and Futures. And so that's what the most remarkable thing about Fields and Futures is just, that it's literally because of these fields, it's providing these guys a much better future.
It's also pretty incredible when you look at the community impact that it has, right?
Yep.
You've got towns that all of a sudden, these communities that are coming out to these games, right? They've got nice stands to sit in. They're enjoying the atmosphere at the football games, the softball games, better than they have in the past because, there's something to be seen. There's something to be had. There's some place to sit and concession stands and the whole 9 yards. And the other thing that you just got to love about it is, on those days where there is no game, you can go to some of these areas and see families out there throwing balls and practicing their skills, and you got mom and dad out there running around like kids because it's a safe, clean, awesome place to be. It's just really done an incredible job for the community as a whole.
No question, and those are all of the benefits that come from just something as simple as making it feel nice, making it feel worthy of its use. That's to me, that's the beauty of it. And you build community, not just for one generation, but for generations to come.
We mentioned here at the beginning of the show that Josh is the director of OU's Soul Mission. Now, you are a former Oklahoma Sooner, obviously the program near and dear to your heart. It's been really a wild ride over the last, 15 years. I started covering Oklahoma, I want to say in 2009. I left the Oklahoma State beat to cover the Sooners. It's the biggest story in this area. I'm a proud former member of the Big 12. I was an All-American at Oklahoma State. I love this conference, but the ability to cover the Sooners is special, right? It's a different program. It's a different feel. And, to go from a Baker Mayfield, who, shout out to Baker for being great this last weekend,
Right.
uh,
Yeah.
to a Kyler Murray, to a Jalen Hurts, and I've covered Heisman Trophy winners and runner-ups and semifinal games, and then now this transition from Lincoln Riley into a Brent Venables into an SEC. I mean, I can't imagine how you all feel. Your heart's in it, right? Your heart is in this as you guys get ready to embark in an entirely new conference and what is the biggest spectacle in collegiate athletics.
Yeah, man. It's a special time for us for sure. Just being able, for me, I'll speak for myself, man, to be able to be a part of the inner workings of this transition has been very eye opening for me, man. Just all of the small, minute details that go into a transition like this is very eye opening. But it's a big deal for us, man. To be going into, the best conference in college football, to be going into a conference, that's stacked with competition and, that's stacked with, deep, rich traditions and history. As you look at our schedule next year, it's just cool to say, man, dang, we're going to be playing against Auburn at Auburn. We're going to be playing against
Right.
LSU at LSU, like these historic stadiums and atmospheres. We're going to have Tennessee coming to town. We're going to have Alabama coming to town. Can you imagine what Norman is going to be like on those games?
Right.
That's the exciting thing about it, man. But then also just to kind of, to stamp our name or continue to stamp our name in history. Just because, OU's the winningest program in the modern era. To be able to continue to build on the tradition that we have here and the excellence that we've established here at OU, and to do it in a way that, that really proves ourselves worthy, to be honest. And so we're definitely looking forward to that and looking forward to stepping into the SEC with our head high, our chest out, but with great humility. And I think that's a big part of what this program is built on is having the confidence in the work that we put in, having the confidence in our humility, if you will, because it takes a great deal of humility to put the type of work and effort that we do in every day to strive for excellence.
Now, Josh, for those who don't know, give me the cliff notes on what exactly OU's sole mission is.
Yeah, so Soul Mission is our football player development department. It's built, and it's the vision of Coach Brent Venables, our head football coach. And so, if you go to any university, every Power 5 school will have a player development department. Most will be headed up by one person. Some who are doing it big, it's two of them. And for us, we have 5 people part of our Soul Mission. I say that to say that, you often hear that you can tell somebody's priorities by where they spend their time and where they spend their money. And for Coach Venables to demand and deploy the type of resources that he's pouring into Soul Mission shows where his priorities and where his heart is to develop young men. And so Soul, SOUL, is an acronym that stands for Serving Our Uncommon Legacy. And so we're dead set by the vision of Coach Venables to develop young men who are uncommon. That uncommon part comes from a quote by George Washington Carver that says, when you can do the common things in life in an uncommon way, you will command the attention of the world. And so, when
I love that.
When all of this is said and done for these guys, whether it's, really when it's said and done, when they leave our care, we hope that they're uncommon husbands, uncommon fathers, uncommon community leaders, whether they're playing in the NFL or not. And, that's one thing that we've been emphasizing here lately is, so many times, whether it's in the recruiting process, whether it's, here on campus, that you're having these discussions with young men. A lot of times the message is like, everybody don't go to the NFL. Only, less than 2% of guys go to the NFL. So if you don't go, you need to make sure. But it's like, even if you do go to the NFL, you need to make sure that you're prepared, that you have these tools for life that you can employ, whether that's having a sense of service, serving our uncommon legacy, and having purpose beyond your own self-interest, whether it's having a sense of team and community, serving the togetherness of that, uncommon. Like what are you doing in excellence? Like having an uncommon mindset to do things with excellence in every single thing that you do. And then legacy, like and I've been giving a lot of thought to this legacy, man. Like when you talk about your legacy, especially us as men, when we really look at our lives, and like I think I'm right around that age. They say 40 to 45 is when men really start to consider their legacy. And the crazy thing about legacy is the majority of people think that it's forward facing. But the thing about legacy is it's not only just the future, but it's the past connecting with the future. And so how do we, prepare these young men to leave an uncommon legacy, with generations to come for them in the present? A lot of them take away the NFL. A lot of these guys, if they can just be uncommon in their profession, whatever that is, they can literally set themselves up to take care of the previous generation, their mom and their dad, and then also for the future. And so when we talk about the things that we do here with community service, with life skills development, when we talk about career and professional development, when we talk about mental health, when we talk about just simple things like how to cook breakfast, how to make a steak, like doing things like that to prepare these guys for life after they leave here. It's a grand reward for us, obviously, but we understand the importance of the work as well.
One of the things that you just said that really resonated with me is when they leave our care.
Yeah.
And to me, that is why you attend the University of Oklahoma. I had the dream college career. I was a star player for my team. I got treated like a king everywhere that I went. But what was 20 years ago, the 30 kids that were great on my football team had great experiences. The other 65 kids really didn't, right? And I think that when I think of how college football has changed more than anything now with NIL, with the transfer portal, the kids having the decision to, like, now you got to tend to your flock, right? You gotta make sure you're taking care of those kids, and it's how it always should have been, but it hasn't. That's not how it at all has always been.
No question.
I feel like,
Sam. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say, I think that the programming that we do when we talk about community engagement, when we talk about former player relations, when we talk about career and professional development with micro internships and interview preparation and life skills development with financial literacy, our suit program, getting these guys suited and booted. Like when we talk about all of those things, like I feel like we do it better than anybody in the country.
Absolutely.
But what truly separates us is our service to our players. And, when we were first hired and Coach Venables first brought us in for our first meeting with Soul Mission, he made a point to say, like the programming, like obviously is going to be excellent. That's our standard. He was like, but I never want y'all to lose sight of your service to the players. You're here to build relationships and serve these players. And so that's one thing that we constantly challenge ourselves on is like, how are we serving our players? And that could look like, I remember the first instance that, it was like, okay, we're doing the Soul Mission thing is, was that first off season that we were here where we were heading over to an off season workout over at the indoor. And it was almost like a movie. All Soul Mission directors, they start getting pings on their phone and everybody's like, oh, get a text message. And we all get a text message just saying that one of our players on his way to the locker room for meeting to practice, he picks up his phone and gets a message that his best friend was murdered back home. And it was really like, he took it hard, And so the coaches, they got to go coach, right? They can't take time away. And the truth is, like, these coaches care about these kids just as much as we do, but they got to go coach. They got to go run practice. And so Mission, us four guys, we were in the meeting room with this kid for about an hour, crying with him, praying with him, consoling him, making sure that he has the resources necessary to get back home to be with his family and to be able, to attend the services of his best friend. And so, like, it could look like something like that. It could be something like us babysitting one of our players' kids because we changed practice last minute, the schedule, and he couldn't find a babysitter, and he's like, "Hey, like, I can't find a sitter." Like, what? I'm like, "Man, bring him on. Like, we got him." So we like, when we talk about serving our players, man, like we will do anything to serve our players within reason, obviously.
Right.
Now, when I say we'll do whatever, that means that we truly have a heart on serving our players. But then there's also a level of mentorship, of accountability, that we can have these tough conversations with our players. And it's only one reason that we can do that is because we have the relationship with them.
Josh, it's so easy to hear the passion in your voice. Like, you truly believe in what you're doing. I can only imagine how fulfilling it is every single day for you and that soul mission, your kids. I'm a huge fan of yours. I think that you just lived such a great life. You're a great example. I'm happy that you are where you're at. I think that there's going to be kids that leave that program that are better for just knowing you. So I want to say thank you to you and the Soul Mission. I think what you're doing is great for young people, young men. I think OU is changing lives each and every day, not only on the football field, but off of it. So thank you for what you do. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for saying that. And, I always try to make sure I take a step back and kind of look, like you said, just look over my life, man. And you're right, man. I have been blessed. And, it's just like, man, God just continues to bless me and put me in positions to carry out his purpose in my life. And what better place to do it at than a place that I love so dearly.
Josh, we're going to have to do this again. You're such a great guest. I'd love to have you on my show, In the Trenches, when we get the opportunity, and maybe we can do something as you navigate your way through the SEC next year, where we kind of pop in throughout the season just to kind of check in. And I want to hear about your experiences. Like, the thing I love about Josh is he's a foodie also, and he's actually quite the chef. And so I want to get reports from you from Baton Rouge. What'd you eat? Where'd you go? I want to hear all those things. So it'll be cool.
Yeah. I definitely do that. Maybe that's what we can do. Start our own podcast on the food that we eat in these college towns that we go to, man.
Absolutely.
I love anytime, Sam.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much. Big thank you to Dot Rhyme, Tim and Liz McLaughlin for everything they do with Fields and Futures and for setting up this interview. We're going to do quite a few more of these throughout the year, as Fields and Futures is a big part of what we're doing here at Sellout Crowd. Josh, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you, and have a great day.
Thank you.